Oh, well, I heard that music. I was like, okay.
Hey.
In there.
He liked that intro, huh?
Yeah, that's a nice intro.
Thank you so much. Jerome Malone helped us with that. So, you know, his talented self. Shout out to Jerome. We're going to give everybody a chance. So what I've started doing is going live on YouTube and Facebook. So we got to get my audience be split. Somebody on Facebook, somebody on YouTube. So we're trying to get everybody adjusted to the Neal Appeal show, the Neal Appeal channel on YouTube, but they so used to that Facebook, they won't come off of it, Beck. I don't know how to get them. I don't know how to get them over here. We're trying, but we want to welcome you to the Neal Appeal show, the Neal's Appeal, marriage, relationships, and other stuff. Today, we are honored. What they say, peacock proud. Right? What they say? What thing? How it go, Fred?
I'm not sure how that
goes. I don't know. What West be saying? I don't know. You know how he be making up that stuff. But we are so honored to have Willie and Becky A. Davis with us on tonight to open up and share with us their journey, right? We got similar journeys, but hold on, let me give the people a chance. Y'all go ahead on and click the share button. Let's go ahead on and share this out. Let everybody know, hey, the Neal Appeal, they done started. Come on, come one, come all. We're going to give y'all just a couple of more seconds just to navigate those pages and get those shared out to your friends. This is going to be, you don't want to miss this discussion tonight. You do not want to miss this discussion on tonight. All right. So just a couple more seconds. Y'all had a good day, Becky and Willie. How was your day?
It was good. It was good. Running around, getting ready. Tomorrow I leave for a conference, so it was running around trying to do some last minute stuff before I get ready for this conference. But that's about it for me today.
Becky, you helped me when I called you to ask you about doing this, and you was like something about a calendar, right? Y'all got a family calendar, and y'all put stuff on the calendar.
Yes.
So guess what I did? I went to Walmart, and
she got a calendar.
I went and made me one.
Yeah.
Right? Cause I wanted to put my goals. I wanted to put like my stuff I wanted to write down here, and then I went and made one because I asked Fred for one, but then I was like, it's just I don't want just a regular calendar. I need something specifically designed for me. Because, I make notes in my phone, but I forget to go to my phone and check my phone, what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So I'm proud of this. I done made me a calendar, and so, we traveled to Orlando, so I'm going to start putting, the stuff on here. So, Brandon, we could do like what the Davises do, like they go look at the calendar when Willie go to bike week and stuff. Put
bike week.
How that get in there? How that get in there?
When they do their stuff, they got a calendar.
Bike week is over.
Bike week is over.
Willie is gone. He enjoyed himself. He shared himself with us, and I'm glad, that he was one with him and his bike. What's your bike?
It is.
What's she got a name?
It is.
What's your bike's name? I know she got a name.
I got two of them. One of them is called Reaper, and the other one
is a new one.
Is a new one. I ain't named him yet.
Reaper, is that the green one?
No, that's the Harley.
Burnt orange. The green one is gone.
Yeah, I sold the green one.
Oh wow.
He still only has the green one.
So what do you have now?
Just two Harleys.
Two Harleys.
Just two.
Also, you don't have a street bike anymore.
No, not anymore.
No 300. What was that? 330Y? 330Y?
360. 360.
360?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Single-sided 360 was on that one, but I sold it.
You sold it?
Yeah.
My goodness. Now,
yeah, it hurt. It hurt.
Did it? Really?
Yeah, it hurt.
So, why too hard?
I want to keep them all, but I can't. She ain't going to let me keep them all.
Yeah, you can only ride one at a time. Well, two Harleys. What you got? Road glide, street glide?
Both of them are street glides.
Both street glides.
Yeah.
We got the same taste.
Yeah.
It's one for sale right now. Right now.
I need to get some other matters straight, squared away before I start buying a motorcycle, man. We just got some stuff, going on, with our Florida house and all that stuff, man. So it's I gotta laugh and pray in order not to cry.
Oh, I've been there, brother.
Oh,
I get it.
All right, Willie, you just don't know, man.
I've been there, brother.
You just don't know.
But you cried, though.
That's so good, Willie. You cried?
She probably took my complaining as crying, but nah, I wouldn't tears, but I complained a lot.
It's different forms of crying.
All right.
So what was the name of it was a Hayabusa, right?
Yeah, it was a Kawasaki 1400.
1400. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What year was that?
Oh my
goodness. 2008.
Okay.
Beck, we gotta stop this. They gonna go on.
They go all night. They
understand this language clearly.
Hey, Beck, pinch him on his leg. Tell him we can.
I know it, because he won't stop now. We were in the living room the other day, and he heard a bike coming down the subdivision. He jumped up out of the middle. I said, he finna go see who that bike is. He came back in. I said, who? Oh, it was the neighbor down the street. I was trying to see. Like, he can hear the bike engine and tell you what kind of bike it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Anyway.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead on and get started. Welcome again to the Neal's Appeal. We got Willie and Becky, and we just want to know, how do you lead a marriage ministry while navigating real life challenges at home, right? So y'all know the story we told y'all the other day, I was riding down the street, asked the Lord, hey Lord, what else am I supposed to be doing? Because I know it ain't just singing at Preachers Appreciations and, homecomings and stuff. It's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And it was so clear. I told y'all this, but I'm sharing it for the viewers that this may be their first time. Riding down the street, asked the Lord. It was so clear. It was so clear what the instructions in my assignment was. Talk about marriage, right? And I was like, talk about marriage, and you're not going to do it alone. And I'm like, because y'all know Fred is a man of few words. When I get home and I run this by him, we gonna see who this really is talking to me, right? Because I'm not gonna do this alone. Fred gonna get on Facebook and talk about marriage stuff on Facebook to these people.
Yeah, I don't even have Facebook.
I don't even have it.
But she has it and she dabbles with it from time to time. But otherwise, I don't have time for that.
Listen, it was just so when I got home, I told Fred what was clear to me, and he was like, I think it's a good idea. And I was like, what? I was mad. I was angry because I really didn't want to do it, right? Because doing a marriage ministry means the two married people that's doing a marriage ministry got to model kingdom marriage, right? We got to model this. We got to be accountable. We can't get on here teaching and talking and we ain't did it ourselves. So that was our story. We love it. We've been actually getting some free counseling and as we interview all our guests and stuff. And so I just want to know, how are y'all managing? How did y'all get into it? Just go ahead and start with, how is Willie and Becky doing the marriage ministry at Stonecrest?
You started.
Yeah, I know. I decided, he and I was having problems in our own marriage, and I was just like at a point where, I was working on my marriage, so I'm reading books, I'm going through different books on marriage, women, wives, and how you love your husband, how to pray for your husband, different marriage books. So I'm reading all these books, and I'm trying to implement some of the things in the book as well. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just teach this to the class and be able to provide other people some help. Because I would talk to Will about it, but, Will, he wasn't hearing none of that. So I was just like, well, let me just help somebody else. So I told him I wanted to teach a workshop, a training class for our Sunday school. And so I went to the ministry leaders over the marriage ministry. I was like, hey, I got a workshop I want to teach on communication. And I wanted to teach communication because ours was not good. And I was like, well, I'll teach on communication. And because in my work as well, I teach on communication. I teach leaders how to communicate, how to effectively communicate. So I was like, well, I already have some information, some data. Let me put some biblical principles to it. That's what we'll do. So I told him, I said, hey, I want to teach this class. But we're gonna have to do it together because I'm not gonna be able to just teach Sunday school by myself. You're gonna have to teach with me. And he was like, okay. I said, I'll do the work. I'll study, do all the stuff, and then and teach in the class. And you can support, be in the support. He was like, okay, that's fine. And so I started doing that, and we immediately started to see the impact to the marriage ministry, which fed my spirit to see the impact to the marriage ministry. But I was still carrying a lot of the weight, and so we started doing a book, Love and Respect, and in that book we needed to split the weight. So he needed to teach a part where he was talking to the men, and I needed to do a part where I was talking to the women, and he was still fighting me on it.
Yeah. So back it up a little bit. She said, I said, okay. That wasn't the way it was. In the beginning, I didn't want to do it because I was heavy with the singing ministry and all of that at the church, and I had issues with all of that kind of stuff, going back and forth with people and songs and making sure we do this and that. I was told that I didn't want to do it.
You didn't.
But I said
you want.
I didn't say I want to do it. But when you said, I said you gonna take care of it. Okay, then you handle it.
He never said he didn't want to do it. Those words never came out of his mouth. He never said, "I'm heavy at church. I
said okay, but
you never said those words.
Okay.
They came months later.
Yeah, months later.
I was like, hey, I need your help here. All right, you the one got to do
it. I said, this was your thing. You wanted to do it, so let's roll with it because of you. And
I was carrying the weight, but
she was.
But there was a portion where I was like, and Fred, you tell me what your thoughts on this. There was a portion where I did not need to say it to a man. Another man needed to say it to the men. And so I was like, on that part, I shouldn't be the one to say that. You should be the one to say that. And I said, there's parts for women. If you're telling the women, they're going to think you just like their husband telling them, and we don't want to block their ears to hear. So I need to say, the Bible says, ladies, this is what you're supposed to do, because I have to do it too, so they could hear it better from me. So I was like, so you're going to have to bring that part for the men so that they can hear it. Because if they hear it from me, I sound like their wives.
Right.
And so they can't hear it from me. Well, here.
So wait. So before we really got into it, remember when you sat me down and you said, I need you to participate, but I want you to do it because you want to do it. And you said, if I say no, then you'll...
That was at the end. After kind of going back and forth with this fight, I said, okay, Lord. I said, okay, well, there's an out. I said, we don't have to do this. It was the end of the year. We're getting ready to prepare for 2025. And I sit down with the marriage ministry leaders. We sit down and we go through what 2025 is going to look like. We plan the year. We plan outings. We just a lot of brainstorming ideas. I said, listen, before I get on that call, I need to tell them something. And I need you to know whatever you decide, I'm good with it. I was the one that said, hey, I wanted to do this. And I believe that it's affected and helped a lot of marriages. But you get to make the decision. And I said, whatever decision you make, I'm good with it. If you say, no, I don't want to do it, fine. When I get on the call with them, I'll tell them, hey, we can plan everything, but we are not going to lead in the ministry. I said, if you say, yes, I'm going to do it, I will no longer carry the weight. You will have to pull weight. And I said, so whatever decision you make, I'm good with it. And he was like, well, I said, no, don't answer tonight. Don't answer tonight. Let that thing sit in your spirit. And we'll come back in a week. Don't answer tonight. He's like, okay.
But Fred, that puts a weight on me. You know, you've been there, right?
Absolutely.
There's a weight on you, man.
I don't understand what you mean. Weight on you.
Because I knew that you wanted to be a
right.
part of it. Because
a lot of pressure.
In your spirit, you felt that God was leading you there. Who am I to stop it? You know what I mean?
That part.
So it was heavy on me. And I can't say no.
But I told you, I said I could teach in other areas. I still use my gifts in other areas. I kept saying it because I was like, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm taking away from you. I said, no. I said, I can still teach with the women. I still teach, I do strategic planning for the church. I said, so I'm still going to use my gift in the church. And I said, we'll just stop this.
Yeah. And the thing that I had to reconcile with, I wasn't going to say no because I knew the weight was heavy on it. The thing that I had to reconcile with is me telling myself, you got to take the time to do your studying. You have to be committed. You have to be focused and all of that.
Right.
And that took me, what was it? How long did it take me to come to the real and tell you?
You came back a week later.
Yeah.
Tell me, were you wrestling with the Lord? What was that like?
We talking to these people.
Oh, that's what they want to know. That's what they want to know. What was the wrestle with the Lord? Because I know he was saying something to you.
Yeah, the wrestle was.
And then we wasn't wrestling with, Lord, I'm going to do it for Becky. That wasn't a wrestle.
Yeah, that's what I said. I needed to be committed with the time and focus on the class and get my studies together and make sure I'm helping men with real live stuff.
Correct.
And that's like, do I have the time to do that? That's what I was wrestling with. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, there's bike time, of course. Mm-hmm. I'm working. And then there's our time. I got to make some extra time. So that's what I was wrestling with.
Right.
Lord, I'm
about
to do it.
And that's a lot of pressure. I mean, because I didn't know what magnitude that, I'm saying, this would lead to, when she asked me to do it or what have you. And so I was like, you know what? We're working on our marriage as well. I mean, we all have issues. We all have problems. And there's really not enough realistic, how can I word it, realistic things needed from church other than book, chapter, and verse or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So there's book, chapter, and verse, but where's the application? You know what I'm saying? There's people hurting. There are men hurting, you know what I'm saying? There are men that are, not living in their purpose, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know how to plan, and so it's a two-way street. And I heard, West say years ago, women have women conversations and men have men conversations. So I understand perfectly what Becky was saying as far as having, Willie's input as far as this marriage ministry thing is concerned. So,
yeah. And when you're dealing with men that some of them that I knew, some of them I didn't know, I start wondering, man, would they even listen to me? Maybe they won't listen to me. But I said to myself, I'm going to talk real life situation with us.
Right.
And hopefully, if they don't even listen, maybe they can see some of the things that they're going through that we're going through.
Correct.
Right. So a lot of the times in the class, I'll speak truthfully on me.
Right.
Because I mess up a lot. Right? I mean, you know this. I'm not the best communicator, and I'm only going to be a good husband. I wasn't in the beginning. So I make a lot of mistakes, and I bring these mistakes to them.
Yeah.
The thing that I've learned with these men is they can see my mistakes miles away. But their wives telling them, you're doing some of the same stuff.
Same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's needed.
Wow.
And most guys, Willie, you know what I'm saying, they know that you're a real cat. So, you know what I'm saying, they might respect you even more. You know what I'm saying, that you're now on the platform and you're revealing to them what's going on in your home. Yeah. Now, there's a community of men, that can associate with what you got going on, regardless of whether they say anything about their situation. The wife's going to comment on and say, yeah, you do the same stuff, so why? Yeah. Speak up. You know what I'm saying?
So, and most of them, at the end of the class, all the guys get around me and tell me, you was wrong, da-da-da.
Yeah, you were wrong, but you were straight up right.
I was straight up right, but hey, now you know what not to do. I done done it, so you know.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this. What would you say has been the most rewarding, right, and the most challenging part of leading the marriage ministry? What's been the rewarding part? So now we established, listen, this what Willie and Becky doing. Whoever started, whatever, y'all in it now. And y'all are actually benefiting from it. So come on, give me that answer.
Rewarding, I would say, it brought us closer together. Yeah. His communication improved. Yeah. From my standpoint, his communication improved. What's rewarding is he will take a look at himself or his behaviors in a way that before it was just defense. I felt like it was just defensive mode, as opposed to now he will take a look at his behaviors and think about those behaviors and then just come back differently than, the cycle that we were in before, doing the same old song and dance in disagreements. And so that's been rewarding to me. Our conversations have increased. It's been a year and a half us doing it, and in a year and a half, I told him, I said, I've learned more about you in a year and a half than the first 20 years of our marriage because of the openness.
That's heavy.
Yes.
That's deep.
Wow. Yes.
That's heavy.
Yeah. And this class has helped me by teaching these other people and ourselves in our own marriage. What it's helped me with is I feel safe. I feel safe, like I can talk to her and tell her my weaknesses, the things that I'm afraid of, my ups, my downs. Because I make mistakes, but I would never tell her. Because I didn't want her to think that I'm a weak man or something like that.
Correct.
So I'll keep it in. But she wanted to know those things.
Right.
And it gave me a safe space to tell her stuff that, with no judgment. And that's a big plus for me.
So do that no judgment thing. Come on, tell us about that no judgment thing. Help these marriages out here. Hey, when we finished our prelim the other night, Fred was washing dishes. He was like, so what does date night look like to you? And it was just like, oh, baby, how much money we owe y'all? Like, it was so sweet. Like,
yeah.
Come on, tell the people about the no judgment day. Come on.
And it's like, it's funny, how stuff goes viral. And right now it's viral on TikTok. We listen and we don't judge. But even before that little phrase became viral, that's kind of how we did we started doing, when I started the communication nights, in the Sunday school class, we would, the goal was to go from learning what the Bible said about the marriage to doing it. So we were actually forcing couples to have conversations in the marriage class with their spouses that they might never have once they leave that place. And some of them said, that's the only time I could have a conversation with my spouse was in class. When we got home, she didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to talk about it. We would, but in class, it was the only place that they would talk about it. So we were kind of pushing people to have conversations, and we were having those conversations. And then we built in one night a week. And we asked the entire class to do this one night a week. You guys pick your couple night for conversations. And so that it didn't feel like it's an attack night for conversation, we started using couple cards, reconnection cards. So a deck of cards that we started implementing. We used couple connect cards, and I took these to class. And I would pass these out, and we would have these conversations. And at home, Will and I would do the same thing. We'd take a deck of cards. He'd get 5, I get 5. And he'd read his card to me. I would answer, and then he would answer the card, and we would go back and forth. And the cards ask questions that you wouldn't normally think to ask your spouse, but it got us talking about some things and seeing some things in each other. It helped me to understand some things about his past, some things about his childhood. There were some things I knew, some things I had no idea. I was like, I never knew that. And had that question not came up on the card, I probably never would have, because some of these conversations you don't just think to start talking about, but the cards guide you to those conversations. And so we started doing that on on Tuesday night, and we realized on Tuesday nights we could disagree with what is said, but it never turned into an argument. Whereas any other day of the week,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going upstairs. I'm done. Like, it was back and forth, but that was the one night we would sit with ourselves and we would sit with each other and just kind of process and digest what was going on, and we didn't walk away mad at each other. We didn't walk away like you feeling some type of way. We would actually walk away saying, okay, well, that's what he feels and that's what he thinks, but then we walk away thinking about how the other person thought or felt, or something that they experienced in their life that you didn't know that they experienced based on one of the cards.
Yeah, and what's really profound about this, we've been married over 20 years, and there's things that she didn't even know about me because I never told her.
Never revealed.
I never felt safe enough to tell her those things. So after 20 years, we wasn't even communicating. Now that I look back on over the years, I'm like, we talked about fluff stuff. Of course, we got kids.
Right.
So during the kids' time, that kept us from talking about us.
Right.
We talking about fluff stuff.
You always kept it deep, but I didn't want to keep it deep. I'm like,
You know what? It reminded me of one of the conversations, and it was something that he didn't know, and I didn't realize it, because why would I ever even think to talk about this? Will likes to make up the bed in the morning. In the morning when you get up, he likes the bed made up. Okay. And so when we got married, now we're living in a house together. If the bed, like, I'd get out of the bed, and I might make the bed up later, not right away. Always made a comment about that. Hey, you gotta make that bed up. I'm like, So he did it over and over. And like when he would go in the kids' room, he would do the same thing. Like Jasmine, she would make the bed up later on, but like for him, when you get up, you don't even brush your teeth. You make the bed. So if he went in her room, Jam, you ain't made that bed up, and she was like, I was downstairs drinking some milk. That bed ain't made up. So I immediately learned, like, the bed to be made up. So consciously, I'm like, okay, make sure I make the bed up. Jasmine, make up your bed when you get up before you come down. So I've been doing this for 20 years.
Wow. And
then over like the last 3 to 4 years, I'll make it up if I'm going to make it up. The older I get, it's like, I end up doing it. So what ended up happening, I ended up telling him, I said, Will, do you realize, I said, before you and I got married, we made up the bed, but it was such a stickler for you. I went out of my way to make up the bed every day. Jasmine went out of her way to make sure we met because it was an issue for you. I said, that was not how we got up and moved through the day. We would get it done, but we didn't get it done in the time frame you would want it done. And I said, it would frustrate me on 10 years of making up the bed. I missed one day, he say something about it. It would make me mad. And I said, that's why he was like, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that y'all didn't make up. This is 20 years later we having this conversation.
Wow.
Hey, internet people, listen. I told her she ain't got to make it up anymore. So, right? I said, hey, get up and go.
Forget the bed.
Forget the bed.
But when I get up in that bed and I made up, he forget that he told me.
I'm calling for work. I'm 20 miles away. I called back. Hey,
you up yet? Busy. You didn't make that bed.
That's funny.
But that's not, it's that kind of stuff. Like you don't know what we came from, and then I don't know what you came from. But what I realized, okay, you like this. Okay, I am intentionally doing this. I think the miss there, he didn't know that was me putting forward an effort to do something to make him happy. He didn't realize that. He just thought he was supposed to make. But I think I ended up telling him that like 3 years ago when I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, I'll make it up when I make it up. And then he was like, I told him, I said, no, somebody gonna come in here and clean all of this because I'm not doing all of this no more.
Oh, wow.
The older you get, you think you can say what you want to say.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say.
That's what they say now. I'm getting the brunt of it right now.
So look, Willie, speaking of the past, right? So you and Fred the other night were talking about, what you saw growing up, right? You knew from your father, hey, I got to get out and go to work, right? And I think that's I don't want to call it a mistake, I think that's the assumption of men across the board. It's like, hey, I'm going out working, providing, I ain't know you needed tender conversation. What me and Fred was talking about last week, right? So in speaking on, and y'all related to that, both of y'all, related to that. So talk from how our past may explain how we are, but it shouldn't be defining us, right? And just because that's our past doesn't mean that
they're not shortcomings. They're not shortcomings. That's just how we were mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
From a Willie standpoint, from a Fred standpoint, or whatever. So.
Right. So it's not defining you. It's just that's what it was. But let's talk about
But to a certain extent, until you found out, that's what the issue was. Then you're being judged because of, not having the boo conversations or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That just didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right. And she said something to me because every time that she normally would say, Will, you're not this, you're not that. And I was like, here's my dad. My dad never hugged me or kissed me or let me sit on his lap or nothing. There was no affection in my house. But I knew he loved me because he would get up and go to work.
Yeah.
Now, me and my brothers talk right now. And all of us are hard workers. No matter what job we go to, we rise to the top. Because we know work. But Becky needed something else rather than me bringing home the check and just dropping it off and just worried about work. But she told me something, and that changed my mindset. She said, you're a new creature in Christ when you were saved and baptized. The old man has died. You're a new creature. A new creature don't act like the old creature. You can't do things just because your daddy showed you those things. I need this, and this as a wife. You can change and be this person because you have a new mindset. And that thing stuck with me.
That's heavy. That's deep.
The one thing that there was, I read a book, and in the book, and I shared this with the class too, and the book basically said, we fight for our limitations, but we don't fight for our possibility. So fighting for our limitations, basically what he was saying, when people say, that's the way I was raised, my mama taught me like this, and I didn't know nothing different. That is a limitation that we have, is the limited information from our past. We fight for those. Nope, this is who I am. Nope, y'all know this is how. But we don't fight for the possibility, and the possibility is what God says about us. And so the new creature piece of it is, you were raised in your house with your father for 18 years. You've been out, and for 30 years, you've been a Christian. Who has the most power, your earthly father or your heavenly father? There's a fight that you need to fight
now
for.
Y'all see. Now y'all see why I say what I say. I can't.
Hey.
I can't believe I this kind of stuff, man.
We'll be on that Bible with her, you know, she.
That's all I'm saying is that's what the word say is yes. Because there was things with my parents and that crippled my mind as well too. But the fight is, I am my father's child. He said, because I carry the name Christian, because I'm going to fight to look like that and not look like what has transpired in my life. And that's it's a spiritual warfare. But do you want to fight the fight, or are you comfortable with leaning on the limitations? I know the limitations, and I know what. But if I am comfortable in the limitations to fight for the possibility of what God can do, that's a whole different fight. It means I got to let these limitations go. It means I can't just say, well, okay, Daddy didn't show me this, but the Lord did. He showed it to us. He's made it clear. So how do we then choose to do what He wants us to do?
And it's a struggle, because I want to lean on to what I know and what I feel comfortable with.
Absolutely.
So I have to capture my thoughts, and I'm thinking, I can't say this, or I can't do this. She needs this.
Right.
And it's hard, man. It ain't easy.
No,
and sometimes I falter. Right. Sometimes I go back to my old me, and I'll be lazy and whatever.
No, that's your comfort zone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's a spiritual warfare with the old man and the new man.
You know what it is? It's the default mechanism. You know how computers have, do you want to go back to default settings, to go back to our default setting is easy for us to go back to default. We have to change the program for the default to give us a different outcome. It's easy to go back to the default setting, and that's for all of us in anything. It's easy to go back to the default setting.
That's good.
That's real good.
All right, so a couple more questions on this, on the ministry part. Willie, I love how you're self-aware, and you're taking accountability, right? You're being vulnerable.
Yes.
Most men don't do that. That's hard. You and Fred talked about that the other night, having community and being able to say that. And so feeling convicted. Give us a moment that you can share where you actually felt convicted about something Becky was trying to relate to you that she needed, and you actually had to go in the corner and say, wait, hey, I am wrong, come back out and apologize.
Yeah, one of the major things is our date night. So we sat down together and we decided every month we're going to do something, a night out. So we have our Tuesday night conversations at 8 o'clock every Tuesday. But she's like, let's go out and just spend time with each other on the outside, do something abnormal once a month. For 2 months in a row, I forgot or I didn't do it.
We will be rotating.
We was rotating, and you would do yours, and I didn't do mine. And I'd wait till the last night, and she'd bring it up, and it would infuriate me. And then I'd try to go plan something. It never worked. And then what did you tell me? You the thing that you said to me that pricked my heart is you came to me and said, Will, that hurt me. For 2 months in a row, you haven't done a date night, and it hurt me. And man, that thing got to the bottom of me. So when she told me that, of course, my mechanisms, I was like, push it out, right, defense.
That's when he came up. You the one want to do all this stuff with this marriage ministry. You don't want.
I gave it a whole spiel. I gave it a whole spiel to throw it off of what it was.
And I let him go. I refused to let my emotions ride. I let him go. When he finished, I was like, I hear what you're saying.
And you said we ain't got to do it.
We don't have to do it. I said, I don't want to put nothing on you that's causing you to feel this way. I just need you to know it hurt my feelings that you couldn't prioritize me.
That got to the bottom of me.
Pressure.
Man, I struggled with that thing. I couldn't sleep.
Pressure.
Way too much. Man, I ended up sending her a text.
Yeah.
And because it was on me so bad, I was like, man, I know she right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all of this stuff I do, I can at least spend one night a month giving her, taking her out on a date and setting it up and all of that. So I ended up writing her a long text and sending it. And in the text I told you, I said, listen, you're right. You're 100% right. I'm wrong. I could do this. And I said, going forward, I will set up all date nights. And you don't have to even, because we was taking turns, I was like, nah, I'll just do it on my own.
And I was skeptical about that because I was like, his MO. His MO is I'll do it for a couple of times. She'll be happy. Then I'll go back. I'll go back to my default. So I was skeptical about it, and I was like, you just got to take what he said. Now, Satan is in my mind saying he going to do it a couple of times, then he done. He has done it every single time and said, hey, put this date on your calendar. Like, in December, he was like, February, put this on your calendar. February? What? You thinking that far ahead? Yeah, put this on for January. Put this on for February. What? Okay.
It made you feel good, though, right? And warm.
Oh, man.
But listen, guys, Satan be dogging me out on them date nights.
Oh, I know.
Because as soon as I get her in the car, I'm driving, she says something, I'm like, oh, I got to bite my tongue because
What'd I say?
You talk about my driving. I'm like, she complaining about my driving. I'm trying to get you to this spot. and then I start worrying, oh, she ain't going to like the place I picked.
Right.
Satan be on me, but what I decided to do is just capture that no matter what she say and just keep
Keep it moving.
it out.
Keep it moving, yeah.
Yep.
All right, one more question, and then we got to get on this. Have y'all ever faced resistance or tough conversations within the ministry? Like, with the what's going on in most marriages? It's about the same, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, well, the resistance part, I think, is when a spouse, whether male or female, hears something that they just don't want to do. And that's the time when I think you have to show them what the words say, not what you say, because then they think you saying it, but you have to show them what the words say. And now if you're going to fight against it, you're fighting against the word, not because we're the ones saying it. So I think there are times when people fight against that. Like we were doing this in one class, we were talking about men. We were talking about what men needed from women from a respect standpoint. We were talking about authority and hierarchy and what respect looked like. And so a lot of the women like, yeah, we need respect too. And it's like, yeah, I get that. And it was like, so, the woman, we're doing way more and we're doing, and so I listened to all of that. And then the one comment I made is, ladies, I hear everything that you're saying, and I agree that we feel like we need respect from men, but it's not a part of our heart's language. Our heart's language is love. His heart's language is respect. So you expecting him to give you respect does not speak to your love. So you have to move beyond like, well, okay, I want him to respect me too. You would, if he gave you love, that would make you feel respected. He has to have
Respect.
And you have to look at it from that standpoint and not, well, I want this. That's not the language. The Bible says that men love your wives.
Right.
Women, respect your husband. He needs respect as a part of his language. It wounds him worse than it'll wound you when you don't get respect. you're wounded when you don't get love.
Right.
Mm.
And then they have to kind of sit with that, because that's that tug of war between male and female that, well, he this and she that, and she, but here's what the word said.
Yeah. And I think one of the toughest things for me in the class is to see that the men are the couples are not working on the things that they need to work on to improve it. And it's hard to watch, because we ask about the work. Are you doing the work? And the work is hard. People don't want to do the work. And that's a saddening thing when you get up in front of a class and try to teach people to help them, but yet they don't want to do the work.
Or they only do the work in the class,
But
and some won't even do it in the class. They'll sit and listen to it and think it's good. But some will do the work in the class, but then leave the class and don't do the work. And that's, I even get that. Like everything that we walk away teaching, we're not in practice of it. And that's the part where it's like, okay, God, you got us teaching this not just to help them, because we need to hear this, and we need to hear where we're falling short, and then we need to be transparent about where we're falling short, and how do we just take one step in that area, not the whole step. How do we just take one step to kind of move towards it, where we're not feeling like I got to change everything for him to be like, let me just change a little bit. Let me hold my tongue right here. That's a step, you know. So I think that's the part in the class when people are they are on the side of their default mechanism, not realizing that you're in a spiritual warfare, because what you're talking about is how you feel, but what does the word say?
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, this is good. We gotta take our pivot, because we gotta get to this other part. I just realized that the Facebook is not running, so I'm gonna send them a link right quick to hurry to catch us over here. So Beck, you wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
So here is real life about to play out. Y'all running the marriage ministry, and you got real life challenges, right? And so, you know, people can be judgmental and things like that. I want you to tell us about your book that you wrote, why you had to write that book. Let's take that pivot there, and let's get on how what the title says. You manage your marriage ministry, real life, like y'all got real life stuff going on, you know? So come on, let's talk about that book.
So I wrote a book, a personal book that I knew I needed. God had told me to write it, and it took me 2 to 3 years to actually write it, because every time I started to put pen and paper, I would get emotional about the book. But it was a book that regarding my daughter. You know, in the end of the 8th grade, going to 9th grade year, I found out my daughter was interested in girls, and that she was professing to be gay. And from the moment, you know, she and I had the conversation about that, I was just like, nope, that's not happening. Not in this house. And when you talk about whooping someone with the Bible, that's what I did. Like I was giving her 30 lashes with the Bible, what the Word say, and what God say, and all of that stuff. And it actually created a horrible relationship with me and my daughter. One of the things when I had the designer to do the book, I told her, I said, I want you to put a heartbeat. You know, when you're flatlining, I said, I want you to put that on there. So she drew it. When she first put it on there, it had flatlined and came back. I said, no, I want you to flatline it. I want a heartbeat, and then I want it to die. I said, because me and her relationship was dead. We had the relationship, I had killed the relationship with my daughter. And she was like, oh, Becky, that's so hard. I said, but I want that dead line to come back. So you see the flat line is dead, but then you see a heartbeat come. And that heartbeat came when, you know, God was working on me, because for the longest I thought that if Jasmine just fixed this and turned this around, everything is all good. The reason we got these issues is because her behavior and what she's doing. And so everything all of my reasons or justifications was Jasmine's fault. And a big part of it, what God had to show me, is that he was teaching me more about me than he was teaching me about her. But I didn't want to see what he was teaching me about me. I just did not want to be judged and embarrassed and ashamed and uncomfortable that other people know, especially church people. So I wrote the book when she and I worked on fixing our relationship, and we had gotten to a place where we had fixed the relationship. That's when God was like, you need to help other people fix their relationships, other Christians fix their relationships with their daughter, specifically Christians. And because I know the judgment really comes from Christians. And so I wrote the book, and when I wrote the book, I told Will, I said, I'm going to write this book. I need you to be okay with it because it's about our life, and it's about, I wrote the book kind of leaving some of the stuff with Will not in the book because I was like, I ain't trying to put all him on Front Street. And then I sent it to Jasmine, and I said, hey, I'm writing this book. She said, okay, I'm cool with it. So when I got the draft together, I sent it to her. I had Will read it, and I had a couple of family members to read it. And when Jasmine got it, she was like, Mom, I never knew all of that was going on. Because she said, I never knew you and Will almost got divorced because of that. We had never talked. She never knew. She said, I had no idea. So it was her first time seeing it from my perspective. And from that, she said, let me tell you some of what my perspective. So she gave me a perspective I had no idea about as well, because we never talked about it. And when I had Will to read it, I wrote some stuff about him, but not all stuff. And he knew all the stuff that was about him. And he said, hey, you leaving some stuff out of there. I said, yeah, because I'm not trying to put all your stuff out there. And he was like, well, if we're going to help people, you need to put it all in there. And I said, put it all in there is basically how you were like, she needed to go, and you didn't want her here. And so I don't want it. He was like, well, that's what it was. I said, okay. I went back and rewrote. I'll put it in there then, because I was like, I'm writing the book. I don't want to put that pressure on him. So I went back and put in more of the stuff that happened with us in the marriage, and then some things that happened with her. But God was teaching for me as her mother, because Will and I have 4 kids. I had one coming into the relationship, Jasmine, and he had 3 when we got married. So we didn't have any kids together. And so that in the dynamics of its own, I would be mad at her, like, want to kill her, but I get mad if he say something bad about her. Because don't you say that about her. Now, I just said it yesterday. Yeah. But he can't say it today. Yeah. Not you trying to talk about my child. That caused some issues too. But I knew that God healing me enough, because God had to heal me enough. I didn't talk about it to nobody for at least 7 or 8 years. I would never bring up anything about my daughter. But God had to heal me to give me the strength to start talking about it. Once I wrote about it, to start talking about it, to be able to help more people.
So what's the name of the book, Becky?
It's When Push Comes to Love. And I thought about that because I remember when push comes to shove, and that's what I did to her for so many years. And so I wanted to put a spin on it, like I push to love. When push comes to love, from rejection to rejoicing, because I rejected her. And once we healed the relationship, I was rejoicing that God brought that relationship back together. It's a Christian mother's relationship with her gay daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically I disappeared. I backed out of the situation because, first of all, embarrassment of what other people would think.
Right.
Then my mind started going with, like, I don't know how she feels or what she thinks. I'm talking about Jasmine. I didn't know any of that, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I had my own three kids that we're trying to deal with. me and her was going through all of this stuff. And you told me one time when we was driving in the car, you said, Will, you got to sort your situation out with Jasmine. I don't know if you remember this.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then I was like, me and Jasmine okay. But I remember before I knew Jasmine was this way, I would wake up early, take her to breakfast, we go work out together, let her practice a basketball. I was doing a lot of stuff. And then all of that stopped. So I never took into effect how it affected her because I was absent, basically.
And when I was telling him, I was like, you got to fix it with Jasmine.
I said, be cool.
I don't have a problem with Jasmine, but I had mended my relation with her. I had conversations with her, and she told me that she was hurt because Will just rejected her. And she said, Will used to do this with me. Will would go do that. Mama, you would be at work. Me and Will was be hanging, and he just stopped everything. And I kept telling him, I said, no, y'all, it's not good. And he was like, I talked to Jasmine. I said, but you don't talk to her about nothing to do with her life like you used to. Right. You only talk about the surface stuff, and she know you're not talking about it with her.
Yeah, and she came to town, and I told her, I said, hey, come up in the room, just me and you. And we went up, and the one thing that she told me was that I want you to treat me like the little girl that you used to treat me like, no matter what I look like on the outside.
Right.
And that pricked my heart, and I was like, you know what, you're right. And I apologized. I said, I withdrew from you because of me. It had nothing to do with you. It was what I thought people would think about me being with a gay person, all of this. It was just the whole gambit of embarrassment for me. So I told her, I said, going forward, I'm going to treat you like my little girl, as always. And that's when our relationship changed. But this was many years later. She was already grown and out and living on her own before she and I had that conversation.
So y'all stopped those activities, Will, based upon the revealing of her sexuality?
Yes.
And so, I mean, so what has that taught you, you know what I'm saying? Now, in your position now, and you think back and you look back on, you know what I'm saying, how you just outcast her. Right. On, you know what I'm saying? And it really wasn't about her. It was about Willie. It was about, Becky. In terms of how it's let's just keep it real. Church folk, they don't really have anything to do with the people in the world or whatever. So it's about church folk. And you guys are well known at church, and you don't want this stigma, you know what I'm saying, placed on you guys because your daughter has a preference for whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that stopped because you knew about the
right. And I'll tell you, I know that I wounded her a lot with that.
Right.
Because who knows what her mindset would have been had I not stopped.
That far.
That's the thing that gets me now as I look back.
And you gotta live with that.
I gotta live with it. Mm-hmm. But what I try to do is, when I talk to her on the phone, when I see her, I try to let her know I'm no longer that. This is who I am now. Right. You told me you wanted me to treat you like this, and this is like my little girl, and that's how I'm gonna treat you.
Mm. And she knows through behavior and action now that we no longer feel the way that we felt before.
That's good.
You could say it, but then you show something different. She knows it differently now, because I remember that day that y'all came up here to talk, and I came in just to make sure that they talked. So I'm sitting there, and I was like, Jasmine, you want to share what you have shared with me? And she started talking. And Jasmine don't want to cry either. And she started crying when she looked at Will. She said, you did things with me that my father didn't do with me. And that was special. And then it went away. And when they healed that part of their relationship, then she started to see that things were totally different with us, because we Christians, we've been talking about and living, this is what we're supposed to do, but we are not showing Christianity in our home.
Right.
Hypocrites.
And all that showed the kids was, okay, well, that's for show.
Yeah, I see how y'all.
Yeah, y'all do that at church, but at home,
y'all are different way.
Yeah, and that did not sit well with my spirit.
Wow.
Like, if anybody should know that we love the Lord, it should be the folks in close proximity of us.
That far.
But because that was missing. Like that kept me up at night.
Yeah.
It's like, Lord, help me fix this.
And our marriage wasn't good at this time because Becky knew that I had this issue. So we were driving. We wasn't together. It was pulling us apart because she couldn't stand to be around me. You was agitated every time I was around, and I'm like, and I am in my head thinking I'm keeping the peace by not saying nothing.
Right.
So she's agitated. I ain't saying nothing. We ain't doing nothing but driving apart.
You know, and it's rough. It's rough enough to come together with blended families, and then to have some extracurricular things going or what have you. So, but I mean, God placed y'all in that season. Look at you now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And evidently he knew that we could carry the weight of what transpired, because that weight was then going to have to help others to be able to lighten their load and carry the weight differently, and to do it truly acting in the behavior of a Christian, and not just talking about it, but actually living it out through the process dealing with this. And so the book helped me get some stuff out. It took me a while to write it because I would cry and think of some of the things that Jasmine said that I said to her, and it would hurt my feelings every time. And to think that I put a weight on her. I put a weight on her that she carried for 8 years because of words that I said.
Becky, you shared. You said. You could see the love of Christ with me in the church displayed, but if my daughter had to, that was so profound when you said that. Like, if my daughter had to be able to tell the love of Christ, I'm not loving like Christ.
Right.
Like, and that's when y'all said that you realized it wasn't even really about her. It was more about y'all being tainted. Like that self-awareness, that admitting to that, because you almost lost your daughter. Like you said, if the world was to reject her, she knows she can't even come to her mama because her mama ain't hardly speaking to her. Right? So that's powerful, and that was the divine pivot that you saw the need that you needed to take and get your daughter back and get her love. So my question is, okay, you're in the ministry. We know what the word says about it, right? And picking a side, or that's your daughter, right? So how are you navigating those emotions and the faith aspect of raising your daughter whose lifestyle was different from your beliefs? How are you coming to, what are you doing? You just praying for it? Like, how are you navigating that?
One of the things, I remember having a conversation with Jasmine about, because we got to a place where we could just have conversations about certain things. And I remember having a conversation with her, and her saying about accepting her and who she is. And I said, Jasmine, here's where I think the issue becomes with Christians and people that are gay. And I said, it is both of us trying to show that we right. You pulling to get me on your side for it's right. I'm pulling to get you on my side. And I said, that right there is what the issue is. And I said, I had read, prior to doing the book, I was doing a lot of research, and I ran across this blog of an atheist. This atheist wrote this blog. And so I think I probably put in homosexuality, Christianity, and his blog came up. And the blog was from an atheist, a person who did not believe in God. And when I read his blog, he said, I am loving the state in which we're in. The Christians are fighting with the homosexuals. The Christians think they're better than everybody else, fighting with the homosexuals. The homosexuals are fighting with the Christians to prove that they're right. And he says, as an atheist, all I have to do is sit back and watch the fight. And that right there, I said, he telling the truth. That's exactly what's happening. Like, all Satan wants to do is get you fighting. And so I start the book out and say, this is my belief on homosexuality. It comes from this scripture in the Bible. That's the end I'm going to say about that. I am not going to debate about homosexuality. That's not what we get ready to do. I'm going to share my journey with you of my relationship with my daughter. You can't fight with me on that because it's my relationship. It's my experience with my daughter. But I'm not going to debate and go back and forth on, but she said, and what? No, that's where he wants us, is fighting.
That's right.
So that's what I'm not going to do, is to fight there. And so what the stance that I take, the scripture that says, believing that that God will give, what's the scripture? The scripture is talking about you praying and believing God's will for something. And I was like, I am praying and I believe that. I know that is not a part of God's will. So I'm praying his will. And what God gave me, the peace that passes all understanding, is when he helped me to see is, okay, you're praying my will, it will be done. Whether you're alive or 6 feet under. Mm-hmm. Don't get caught up in seeing it when you're alive, because that'll mess you up. So I just, my peace came when I know that God can do what he says he'll do because it's according to his will.
Right.
I just know I'm okay with it. If I'm alive, praise God. If I'm dead, I still believe he'll do it.
That's right. Yeah, because he can't lie.
Becky.
I could be 6 feet under, and the rest of the family know Becky prayed about this. If she could see this day, she believed the day. She still believed the day can happen, and that's how I hold up. Like I don't argue about that no more. I will have conversations with people, but I'm not gonna get into back and forth. But what about I will share my experience, and I will share what the Bible say about certain things in the experience. But I have to stay armed up with my shield. I have to stay armed up with the word, because that's the only thing that I can hold on to when it gets crazy and when Satan starts to say, okay, look, okay, she's still with a woman. Becky, you've been praying for this long, because that's what he'll say. You've been praying for this long. Doesn't matter. I saw somewhere where Moses prayed for 20 years. David prayed for 30 years. And their stuff was answered. It might not have been answered in their lifetime.
That's right.
So I don't care.
Listen.
And just when, you pray about it and he ain't doing nothing, something's still happening. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
That's it. We always pray for doors to be open. What if he didn't keep that door closed? Where would you be then?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we listen to a lot of stuff too, and I just thought about a whole lot of stuff related to the church. You know what I'm saying? It's metaphorically everything that you said just now was the church, and what is the church now? I mean, we're not even displaying the church of Christ. It should have been a church of love, because we don't understand Christ.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
He did for us. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Everything he did was based upon love. It's an action. And we just have this spiritual warfare going on about nothing. Don't have no scriptural base, no foundation. You're just wasting people's time over nothing.
Yeah.
You
Just want you fighting.
That's it. Just fight. Like you say, Satan just sitting back, he just chilling.
Yep.
If he gets you fighting amongst yourselves, he ain't got to worry about you getting
There you go. That's the best he got to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Becky, you said the other day too that you not only just told her, but you showed her in like walking down. Like Willie said, he didn't want to like be with her because he didn't want to think people would think you're okay with her being gay. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. When y'all went somewhere and you.
Yeah, I needed to show her, because I had 7.5, 8 years of pushing her away and not showing her love, because Satan, his tactic is, okay, if you love on her and like you loved on her before you found this out, she gonna think it's okay, so you got to pull away. And so I bought into that lie, and I did just that. And so when I called her to apologize to her for the relationship that we had, and I wanted to mend the relationship. And you know, the part that really hurt me, and I knew I needed to fix it, is because every time she was grown, every time we would do something with the family, I was always missing her. Like, Jasmine, you gonna come home? Oh, I gotta do this, and then I finally realized she don't want to come home and be around me, because when my look on her was disgust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she didn't want to be around it. So we could talk on the phone all day. She told me that later. She said, Mama, I could talk on your phone all day long. As long as you didn't see me, we could talk. But when you saw me, I could see you were always disappointed. And it hurt me every time I saw you. And so I knew I needed to fix that. I knew she needed to not only hear it, she needed to see me, love on her. She needed to see me care for her. She needed me to see me not care about nobody else or whoever was around, but that I was going to love on my daughter. No matter what. Like, she would come and she would go to church with me. She'd go to church with me, and she would dress in guy clothes. And when she come in, she'd sit next to me, and it's my daughter. I'm going to hug on her. I'm going to love on her. We hold hands when we pray, because we always did that as a little girl. Hold her hands when we pray. She needed to see a physical manifestation of my love and not just hear it. And so when she saw that, and me not worrying about nobody else, then she was like, okay, this is Christianity right here.
Ooh, come on, Jesus! Come on, Jesus!
This is Christianity. Like, I know Mama went to church,
Right.
but this is a whole different thing. And you know, the lady, I can't think of her name now, but she sang the song, I had a praying grandmother, who always prayed for me. And me and Jasmine used to listen to that in the car when she was little. And she'll always say right now, I know no matter what, I got a praying mama.
Come on.
No matter what. So, but that had to manifest itself through me changing my behavior and my time. There were 5 things in the book that I talked about in for people to identify with. And the first one was Satan's tactic. His tactic is to trick us in our mind. Me saying, me and Will both saying, okay, well, we gonna push back, or because like his first tactic is to get into your head and start telling you all this stuff so you can pull that love away. The second part of it was the fight. That was the spiritual warfare. Am I gonna do right? Am I gonna do wrong? I'm fighting these her, and not fighting principalities. I'm fighting flesh and blood. Right. The third one was the work, and the work was about submitting to God. Now, when I read the scripture, and I put the scripture in the book, how will men know that you are my disciples, is that you show love for one another. And knowing I wasn't showing that in my house, that was the work that I needed to do. The fourth one was the change. And the change was about now the spirit comforts. Now I believe the scripture that God will work it out according to his will, and I know that is a part of his will. That was the Spirit's comfort to me. I could rest in it. And then the last one was the challenge. Are you going to choose yourself, or are you going to choose the Savior? Which one do you choose? The self says all of the stuff that we feel naturally as flesh, but the Savior says, I came that you might show love.
Yeah, move out the way. Move out the way.
And one of the major things that I think that would have helped us back in our day, back in the days, is the church should have talked about these type of things.
That's right.
But it was kept a secret for so long. Then when it happened, I didn't know how to react.
That's right.
And nobody wanted to talk about it.
No.
And they still not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's why he's using y'all.
Right. Because we started getting calls. Like, I'll get a call from someone. I think I got a call when Jasmine was going through this. One of our neighbors, they were, literally 2 houses up. So they were in the community. They kind of knew some of the stuff that was going on. And so they were, praying with us. And 10 years later, we moved to Atlanta, and I get a phone call, and she was like, I need your help. And I was like, what? And she found out her son was. And she said, you got to help me navigate this. And I was like, okay. And God was so good, because she was like, he had already had me make so many mistakes with Jasmine that I could help her with some stuff, because she was like, he gets so mad at us. Every time I say, I'm praying for you, he gets mad. I said, let me tell you why he's getting mad. He's getting mad because what he's hearing is you say, I'm going to pray this off for you. And I said, what you shouldn't say that, oh, I'm praying for you. You should say, hey, babe, pray for me. Pray for me to help me. I said, that will change his mindset. I said, because they are hearing things different. I said, all of the stuff that I thought I was saying to Jasmine was right was all wrong, but I didn't know it. And I said, and she was like, I didn't think about it like that. I said, yeah, that's what he's hearing. You want to pray it off for me. You want to pray it away. And this is who I am. And this is how I was made. So you saying I'm not. I said, that's what he's hearing. And I said, so that he doesn't withdraw. I said, then when you say, hey, babe, I'm going to pray for you. Will you pray for me? It's a two-way thing. And not you just praying for him, because that. And she was like, I never thought about that. So I can help her with terminology. I can help her with how things that we think we're doing that's loving, that they don't see as loving.
Right.
To be able to help walk her through that process, because she said, I don't want to lose my child. And I said, these are some of the things that have pulled them away from you.
Right. One or two things in that situation with that young man, you know what I'm saying? One, he could have understood the power of prayer. Mama, don't pray this off me.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is what I like.
Yep.
But the second side of that is you treated me like an outcast.
Yes.
You're a sinner too.
Yes.
You're a sinner too. So that's a two-way street. So, but the beauty of it is, you know, the fact that she reached out to you and she was comfortable with that and actually do that. So, I mean, that's what we talk about, this community or what have you. So there are a lot of people out there, you know what I'm saying, they where you guys were, probably worse when you guys were, however long that was, where you guys were about to split up. They're probably in that same situation right now.
Yeah, because it's hard, man.
You don't even have the sexuality, you know what I'm saying, hiccups, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It's hard when you got nobody to talk to.
That's right.
Look, as a man, because you kind of trying to lead this family, that's why I disappeared, because I had no other option. I didn't know what to do.
And she a young lady, so I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I couldn't. It was hard, man.
Listen, let me pause for a quick second. So I told y'all what I did. I messed up. I forgot to route, or I didn't click the route thing for Facebook. So all these people on Facebook saying, bring them on camera. I can't. I messed up. We over here on YouTube. Okay? Come to the YouTube channel so I can put this phone down and host this call. Becky, I'm sitting here holding the phone up. I'm holding the phone up, letting them watch y'all the best way I can. Y'all, I got to go. Now, I done put in the comments. I put what the page name was. I sent the link. I done did all what I can do. It's time for y'all to pick up the mantle and come on into YouTube. We almost done. Come on over to the YouTube channel. I got to put this phone down. I can't host and hold this camera up. All right? I love y'all. I got to go. I'm out. I see y'all on YouTube. Come to the YouTube. Bye-bye. I love y'all. I just kissed y'all. Bye. Oh, my goodness. My hand is hurting. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with the whole thing, but they have to come back and watch it on YouTube. So half my viewers over there and the other half over here. And they slowly coming. Thank you. Y'all paying attention now. This is so good because this is so needed.
On so many levels.
Like when I lost my hair, right? And I decided to embrace the baldness, right? Like I didn't want to do the wigs, you know?
No, you weren't going to do the wigs.
No.
I'm glad you okay with that because I didn't want to do the wigs. I was going to embrace it. And it's like, I have so many people come up to me and say, I'm dealing with the same thing. Where do you get your strength? How do you whatever? And so it's so many, people out here that are dealing with this, but they don't know that they can talk to somebody till they see somebody out here doing it.
Right. That part.
Right. And so I commend y'all on your vulnerability and being able to be transparent, right? Because that's where transformation comes. So I just want to ask you, what advice would you give to other parents who may be struggling with accepting or understanding their child's choices?
Never. I want my advice would be is do not hold your love back. Do not change the behavior of the love, because I never stopped loving Jasmine, but I did stop showing love to Jasmine. So there's a difference. So do not stop showing love to your child. And the second thing is probably, I've heard you say this a whole lot, is you need to have conversations. Like, I didn't want to have conversations with her about it because I don't think I even wanted to understand. I didn't want to accept. So I'm not going to have conversations for you to, none of that. And I think she was trying to test and see where we were and what we thought and how, and like we was just oblivious to that. But paying attention, because she was growing up in a time and in an era where this was more prevalent. It was everywhere in schools, and because it wasn't when we were growing up, like, we just made fun and light of it when she would talk about it. But we should have paid attention to signs and clues that we should have had better conversations with her. But do not stop showing love. You can be upset, you can be hurt, like you can be in any situation, but you cannot stop showing love, and you can't beat them with the Bible. Come on. You're going to run them from the Word when all you want to talk about is the Word.
And the part of the reason why, you don't want to have the conversation, because we have this conceived conception in our minds that nothing good can come from having a conversation about such. So
yeah. And the thing that I'll say to the men, don't disappear. Now, for us, if it's a daughter, it could be a son. But no matter what you do, don't disappear. Reach out to somebody that you know that have dealt with the problem, so you can at least talk to them, and they can give you some ideas and some things that you can do to help the relationship and not push it apart.
Yeah, because I've heard in the barbershop, there's a lot of conversations being held, stuff that we shouldn't speak about, spiritual and political, all those things are being had. Right. And I heard quite a few guys, say, man, my son, such and such, well, I beat the hell out of him, this and that and the other. And it's consistent, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you talking about walking away from them, they talking about beating the hell out of them. I mean,
because they know nothing else.
That part.
They don't, trust me, probably if I was at least going to church, I probably would have tried to do something like that, because nobody gave me anything to kind of deal with this, except one preacher, Emmanuel White. Me and him had an argument in his office. He said, because I was like, why do I have to go through all of this stuff? I didn't marry Becky for this stuff. Right. I mean, I'm trying to run. And he said, why not you? He said, what makes you think you're better than God? He said, Christ went through all of this stuff. Why not you? And I remember, like, the day it was, I got up, I was so mad, I wanted to fight him. I got up and left out his office. It took me a couple weeks to go back to him and say, man, I was mad. He said, yeah, I know you was mad. but I just had no idea. No information whatsoever how to be a man in that type of situation, how to lead a family when those types of things are going on. It's tough.
This reminds me of uncommon calling. Mm-hmm. This stuff ain't common.
Right.
No, I ain't married over this.
Right.
What's happening? What's going on?
Man, I want to have fun. This ain't
And he said that talking to the pastor, he said it to me. Me and him had some conversation. Because we newly married when all this started to come out. He was like, I didn't marry you for this. I said, then where you going? Because it is what it is. What you talking about? Like, so you finna go, and so it caused issues. And I remember one of the real roughest moments for me with Jasmine. And do you know what I'm finna say?
No, what?
Is when you just don't remember is when Jasmine had always stayed with me. She's a daddy's girl. But I wanted her to be raised in a Christian household. I knew her dad. I was just like, no, she needs to stay here with me so she can have some our
I
values.
said, let her go. I said, she need to go with her daddy.
And he came and he was like, hey, you need to let her go stay with her daddy. That was a way to get rid of her and not deal with it.
Right.
And I was like, what?
Wait,
you need to let her go with that.
I told him I was absent. I told y'all I disappeared, right?
He told you he was absent. Now he want to get rid of her too. You don't want nobody in the house. Damn, it's just gonna be me and you. We have fun.
Yeah, I need some peace. So I
was like, oh no, Negro, no. No, she come with me. You knew this before. And it was a way to not have to deal with it. But you know, when any situations that we find ourselves in, it's something God is teaching us about us.
Yeah.
Not the situation, because what he taught me about myself as a Christian is that I could talk about it, but I wasn't being about it. What he taught me as a mother was you love with conditions. And that's not how I love. So you condition, if she do this, you'll love her.
Right.
I didn't like what he showed me. So all of the situations he put us in, the minute we stop and say, Lord, show me what you teaching me something about me, reveal it to me, whether I understand it or not, because he was teaching us something about us. He was teaching Will, when it gets heavy, you want to throw it away.
Correct.
When it gets heavy, you want to push it. Like he shows us who we are in those situations. We just got to stop and realize this is what God is showing me about me. And now I get to make the decision. Do I like what I see? Do I like who I am? Do I want to be known as this? Do I want to be able to stand before God and say, yeah, Lord, but you knew she was gay. You wanted me to love her. Like all of that stuff plays in my head. And then it says, you got to change some stuff about yourself. And that's when he puts you on the journey to like, okay, she learned that piece of it. Now let me just make sure that she learned. So all of that journey was teaching me about me. It was not teaching me about
nothing to do with her.
Nothing to do with her.
Absolutely.
And by me, by wanting life easy and to run away and push things away to make life easy, it came around again because I didn't learn my lesson. My youngest daughter, Courtney, she was staying with us, and the stuff she was in with the porn on the phone and stuff like that. And again, I said to Becky, hey, let's let her go stay with her mom.
I was like, no.
Hey, listen, go on, round and round, man. And I was like, I got to deal with it.
Wow.
She said no, so now I'm like, okay, Court, we got to have some conversation. And it was hard stuff for me because I never did it. And it just
every time you run, I'm gonna bring some back to you. Until you put them shoes up. Put them Jordan running shoes up.
I'm quick to run.
We got a question in the chat, and we're gonna go ahead on and kind of bring it to a close. So hi Chrissy, thanks for watching. She says, how else can we as a church family support parents in the church who are experiencing the same thing, and then she put in parentheses, other than reserving judgment. So how else can we as a church family support parents in the church who are experiencing the same thing?
I think one way we do that is she's right, not showing judgment, but showing love in the midst of the stuff that they're going through. What I have found with most people, especially when it comes to homosexuality, they are reluctant to talk to someone who's not gone through it. Now they will open up if you have shared that you have, like then that's when they feel like there's a safe space. And so for those who have, like, you could really bring more into the fold with the love that you share. But if you are have not gone through it, but you know that they're going through it, then you continue to let them know that you are still supporting, or you're in their corner, or how can I help you in a way that benefits you? Because for everybody that's different. And so in different ways, for me, with people that I know are going through it because I've gone through it, I'll be like, hey, you want to talk? Here's my number. Anything you want to talk about, if you just want me to listen to it, I'm willing to just listen to it. If you want to hear any insights from my experience, I'll share those with you. But the one thing we'll do is we're going to pray together. before we finished that call. So I just opened myself up for them to have a release, to talk to someone where they it's funny, they feel like you're not going to judge them because you've been through it, but somebody else who's not been through it might judge them.
And the flip side of that, Becky, is now you showing, those individuals love. Now you're being judged because it's being accepted.
Yeah.
I think the main thing the church needs to do is to have conversation. Somebody need to talk about it, because now it's the norm living in today's world. It's prevalent.
Right.
So we need to discuss it. We need to talk about it. I've yet to been to a church where we have those type of discussions to help people understand, first of all, how to continue to love, because that's the only key to it. And we need to do that as a congregation, or as churches all over the world. You need to have conversations about it. Don't shun it. Don't act like you don't see it. Don't act like you don't know it's happening, because it's happening.
Right. And love on those people. Like there are people that come into church, and based on their attire, you think, I'm getting a sign. Like when I see that, because I've been in churches and I see it, I make it a point to go up to them and love on them. I make it a point for them to see, how you doing? Oh my God, thank you because they don't get that all the time.
That's right.
I make it a point because Jasmine didn't get it.
That's right.
And I know how it made her feel. So I don't want someone else to feel that way coming in. I remember I did that. I was speaking at a church in North Carolina, and I did that at a church. I looked at the girl and didn't know, it was an assumption I made, but I was like, I'm just gonna love on this girl, the weekend, and I did. And then when I spoke, I talked about Jasmine. At the end, she came up, she said, I knew it was something different about you. I knew it was something different about you. And then pulled me aside and then shared her story with me. But it gave her the freedom to be able to share that story, because I just loved on her. Like all I want you to know is that I see you and I love you because I see you.
That's right.
Because I want my daughter to get that when she comes to church.
That's right.
This is so good. We got a few more questions. Do y'all mind just answering questions right quick? So, Viking Beast 2 says, Will and Becky, my people, it's Joe Caesar, by the way. Never mind my YouTube name, LOL. Joe Caesar. Christy says, thank you. Hey, Michelle, thanks for watching. How do you ask your child, how do you ask your child to pray for you if they have told you they don't believe in God or that He exists?
So what do they believe in? What do they believe in that is bigger than them? Like for me and most Christian folks, they normally raise their kids in the church. So Jasmine was raised in the church. Jasmine has seen, from all manner of church. So I know she knows what prayer is and what prayer is. And when she's in situations, I'm trying to get this job, Mama, I'm praying. Okay, you're praying for that kind of stuff. So you can pray for other stuff too. And for me, that's how I was like, hey, just say a prayer for me about this. And with the other person, her son was raised in the church with them as well. That's why I said, you pray for him, tell him to pray for you as well. If they have no relationship with Christ, then what is it that they believe in that they can seek? If they're like, I'm manifesting in the universe, well, then ask the universe to help me to see. But it gets them going outside of themselves for something that's higher than them. Then that's kind of where I would lean to. It's like, well, when you're in tough situations, who are you talking to, or what is it? Okay, then use that as a mechanism to bring me into a fold. Even if it means if you go do an affirmation for me, if you're going to do a poem for me, but something that to help lift me in a situation when I'm down. So I would ask, if you have a friend that's going through a tough time, what do you do for them? How do you comfort them? Give me that.
That's good. That's good, y'all. Michelle, I hope that answers your question. Brian, listen, let me tell you something. I was getting ready to try to go to my dictionary right quick and put in that word you just did. Thank you so much for coming back and clearing up what you really meant, because I was going to try to put it in and put it in my ear right quick so I could say it right. So thank you so much for correcting the word. Okay. Brian, thank you for watching. Brian says, can you define discernment? Because when you met Willie, it seemed great, but you've explained situations where it seemed like maybe it wasn't meant anymore, but you two have made it through. And then Brian says, this is why y'all are my go-to for relationship.
So, you want to?
No, go ahead.
I'll say this.
Willie, don't run.
Get him, mama. Get him, girl. Get him.
I told you I'm a runner.
Oh, that's funny.
Come on, baby.
So and I've always told Will this too, that, when we got together, I feel like God put us together to do some things great and for a bigger purpose. And I believe that from the time we got married. Marriage started marrying, life was lifing, kids was kidding, all of that stuff was going on. And that's where Satan then wants to use that space to say, are y'all meant to be? And because from the foundation, I felt like we were meant to be. For me, that's where the spiritual warfare would come in. It's like, no, we're going to have this back and forth. Like there was a time when I felt like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be together no more. Maybe this is it. Yeah. Maybe it's time for divorce. And it was in those moments where I was like, God, you got to show me and help me to see it to where I can see it in a way where I feel like because I want to make sure that I please you. But from that's where you have to stay in your word. Because I believe that Will and I are still together today because of the word. Yeah. Not because we loved each other all the time through the process. Not because we agreed all the time through the process. Not because we were great parents together. Yeah. Like, we are still together because of the word, and always seeking to say, okay, God, you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to show me in a way where I don't pack up some bags and just going on. You need to show me, because that's not something I ever throw out. I ever wanted to throw out and be playing with it.
Right.
So God just, helped through this process. But Satan, the cunning, and he is on his job every day. And he's on his job, because I told Will, anytime me and this dude do something together in one accord, we kill it. Mm-hmm. We kill it.
And he hated it.
He hated. Yeah. He hated. So he always tried to bring discord when we get together and we gonna lose weight. Well, baby, we go at it. We go at it. Like, shoot, like, where they go? We lost this weight together. Like, we gonna do this. Hey, we gonna stop eating this. Gone. Stop eating it. Hey, we're going to save this money. Bam. Save it. We're going to pay this off. Bam. But when we at discord, ain't nothing getting done right. And that's when Satan is always in the middle. I heard a gentleman say, when Satan is in the middle of your marriage, what happened and who let him in? Because somebody had to open the door for him.
Somebody let him in.
Somebody let him in.
Somebody brought him with him.
Exactly. And that was like, okay, what did I do to bring Satan into this situation? Was it what I said? Was it my behavior? Like, when we start to question ourselves, interrogate our own reality, and line it up against what the words say, then that's when real truth really starts to.
But it's so hard. It's so hard.
It is.
Hard being a man, but it's so hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, and don't get it twisted. There's been many a nights that she slept downstairs and I slept upstairs. And
I slept good downstairs. Hey, I took up the whole bed.
and then you told me, well, I thought you'd ask me to come back upstairs. I was like, you went downstairs. I didn't tell you to go.
And I said, but you didn't come get me either.
Right.
That part.
We've had our times.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 100. Because I told her, I said, I bought this bed. I'm sleeping in it. So
blessing. Let me end with Pam's, I'm saying Pam, P. Williams. I think that's Pam. P. Williams, she says, thank you. She puts a heart up and says, thank you for sharing what really happens in real life and suggestions on how to deal with certain situations. You never know when God will put you in a situation. Mm-hmm. So she thanks you. A lot of hearts, a lot of, well, I don't even know some of these emojis or whatever, but anyway, they a lot of love sent and hearts. And sorry for the confusion on the platform, but hey, this message can be out, and we could just go to sharing. It's a link. Let's just share it out. Let's get this out because we need more safe space like this to be able to talk and share. So, y'all, we always end the show with the Neal's appeal, right? So full circle, all of it. I don't know if you want to bring something from, you know what? We forgot to do the thing we do in the beginning with them. Well, we asked them what they. Oh, dang, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. I was so ready for the business. We gonna do the who's most likely to, and you got to point at each other right quick. Y'all.
What happened with the communication stuff? I just feel like some people missed out on some stuff.
You mad about it. Be mad about it, because let me tell you something, Becky, it'd be like 2009 people that be watching that done viewed it on Facebook, and then I got 89 subscribers on YouTube. It don't make sense to me. You know? And so it's out on a lot of people. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do what I need to. Like, that wasn't nothing. The devil don't want this to get out. He don't want people to see we got community. I don't know who's going to start this work in the church. I don't know if it's going to be accepted, because it's like, oh, we start doing that. Are we saying we accepted it? I don't know. But we need something. We need to do something. Our people are struggling. Mm-hmm. Our children are struggling. The parents struggling. There's preachers out here. Right. Hello.
Yeah. I'm in agreement.
It's wives. It's happening. It's real. It's like it's warfare for real. And we got some young ladies going to talk more in depth about that. So I got the parents this week, and so next week we're going to
y'all talking about heavy. Oh my God. We talk with them.
Yeah. They got something to share.
Well, I couldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I was just stuck. Really?
Yeah. I'll be on YouTube.
Huh?
I'll be on YouTube watching it. Believe that.
It's so good to see them. They didn't wait till 60 to get it. Like, they're young.
Yeah.
And they used to live this lifestyle. They've been delivered.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. You know, and they talk like they've been delivered.
I still can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they both said, you know what I'm saying, it was God and the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good one too as well. So we love y'all. Tracy. Hey, Tracy, thanks for watching. She said, thank you for sharing. Great discussion. Hand claps, hearts. Y'all, we love y'all. We need a Neal appeal. What do we share? Whatever perspective you want to come from, whether the ministry, the whole real life thing, doing the ministry. Like I said, it was going to be a struggle for me, because it was like, now I got to work. Now I got to really do what we say we're going to do. That's why me and Fred did that real life. We had a real life break in communication, and we had to talk through it, and then we came and shared out. And this is why God said he wanted me to do this. Like, I need you to, I'm working on my own marriage. I need you to share with the people what you're working on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So come on and let's give our viewers the Neal's appeal. What are they, I don't know, if you come from wherever you feel.
What we did with the marriage class, asking them to that be the appeal for them. You know what I'm talking about? Our
Tell me.
No, you tell them.
Tell them.
Nope.
She wants me to run. I'm a runner.
Don't run from it.
You want me to tell them about the conversations?
Yeah, that should be the appeal. One thing that they could do.
Yeah. So I always tell the class one thing is, wives, say something respectful to your husband that week. But that's what I say. You don't want to hear that. All right.
Something respectful. So Willie, what does that look like? What is that? Something respectful like
Build him up. Say something positive to him to build him up. Because what I found out is sometimes when women think men ain't leading, they don't boost them up and then compliment them on the things that they are leading in. Mm-hmm. I may not be leading in everything, but there's something that I'm doing that you can compliment me and build me up on, and that's what I gave.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then my appeal would be for the husbands is find one way to show love to your wife in her language, not necessarily yours. In her language, find one thing that you could make her feel loved by one act that you take. That's the appeal for the next week.
I like that.
Just one. Yeah, and that's why I say in her language, not yours, because you could say, hey, I did this and it was nice. She's like, I don't even like that. That didn't do nothing for me. So it has to be something in her. I'm saying this for a reason.
Right.
It's proof. It's proven.
Her love language is quality time. But I say, you sitting over there in your chair watching TV, I'm on my phone, I'm in the same room with you, that's quality time.
That don't count for me. That don't count for me.
Hey, Willie, I'm with you, baby. Hey, we need to call, we need to reach out to Teddy Bear. What's his real name? We'll call him Teddy Bear.
Who?
Sister,
TB. TB and Sister Butler.
Oh my God.
Hey, he already got Will. I told him, because he did our marriage class. I said, listen, can you do some coaching with my husband?
Hey, that cat don't play fair, Willie.
No, this is what I told him. Listen, you ain't allowed in this marriage class no more. Yeah. He take the bar so high.
Oh, man. He wrong, man. I'm telling you.
Dead wrong.
That cat there, boy.
Hey, me don't want to hear him talk in the class.
Oh, wow. He's so funny. When he raises his hand, they be like, he finna go up. Help the brothers. But he always like, hey, I got a playbook for Will. I'm gonna help you, baby. I'm gonna help you. Thank you.
People are still calling me about that episode, saying that he done set the bar. He make her wait in a car while he going out. Make her house warm, all that stuff. It was like, you making it hard.
He a real one. Oh, he a real one. And when she chair,
a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
A lot. I told him, man, stop talking to my wife. I can't keep up with this stuff, man. You're going too high.
We was just at church Sunday, and he said, Becky, come here. And he sent us a text, and him and Linda was in Vegas, and they was sitting across from the Hermes shop. And he took a picture, and he sent it to us. He said, Will, Becky likes stuff in this store, just in case you. He was like, Becky, I told you I'm going to help you. I said, boy, you my man now.
That's awful.
That made you
I appreciate you guys asking us to do this.
Yeah, this has been a blast.
It's been fun.
We got to do it again, and we love y'all. We thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, Kelly and Fred. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate you. We thank you so much, y'all, for coming out. It was good. We done went this. I think this is the longest we ever did, but it was needed.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that you took the time to come and share with us. Is there anything else anybody want to share before we get off? I'm gonna do my outro. Can y'all stay on? Let's just close in prayer, and we want to thank y'all again and all that type of stuff. So we are this is it. This is a wrap. This is the Neal Appeal and our powerful couple, Willie and Becky Davis. We love y'all. Sorry about the confusion. Go back and watch it. It's an easy fix. Just go click.
Not only watch it, y'all. Share it. Share it.
There you go, Willie.
Share it. We love y'all. Everybody wave.
Love y'all. All right. Bye-bye.